On trends today, Buhari could have survived, says Abu-Ad Hospital CMD. Unimed ASU rejects university renaming institution after late President Buhari. Senate to Natasha, respect due process, stay away from NASS. Hello and welcome to this episode of Trends with LJE, where we dissect leadership, economic and justice issues in Nigeria, Africa and the globe. Joining me today are media experts and development communications experts whom I shall be introducing after the break. Stay tuned.
At LJE Nigeria, we are committed to ensuring justice, equality and accountability. Reporting a violation helps us to protect rights and uphold transparency. In this short guide, we'll walk you through how to report a violation on our website. Simply start by visiting our website at www.ljenigeria.org. From the home page, locate the Report a Violation option in the main menu at the top. Once you're on the Report a Violation page, you'll be prompted to select the type of violation you are reporting. This helps us categorize your report for faster and more effective handling. Next, fill in your details. It is essential to provide accurate and clear information so that we can follow up effectively. Once you have completed the form, simply click Submit. You'll receive a confirmation message that your report has been successfully submitted. Your report will be reviewed by a dedicated team of experts and will treat all reports with the utmost confidentiality and work diligently to ensure a thorough investigation. If you have any question or need assistance during the reporting process, please don't hesitate to reach out to us through our contact page. Together, we can make a difference. Visit www.ljenigeria.org to report any violation and join us in upholding justice and accountability.
Welcome back from that short break. This is Trends with LJE, and joining me today are development strategist Mr. Shedrack Oka. You're welcome to the program, and development communications expert Uchedihara Ikedichukwu. You're welcome to the program. All right, let's move to the first issue on ground. Buhari could have survived, says Abu-Ad CMD. The CMD of the Abu-Ad, Dr. Akinola Akimade, has boldly claimed that the former President Muhammadu Buhari could have been kept alive if he had treatment at the world-class medical facility. Speaking in Ado Ekiti, Dr. Akimade expressed strong confidence in the facility's cutting-edge technology, personnel, and facility, asserting that they would have done everything possible to keep the late president alive. He critically addressed the ongoing trend of medical tourism abroad, especially among Nigerian political elites and wealthy citizens, urging the government to strengthen domestic healthcare infrastructure by drawing lessons from the Abu-Ad Hospital, which he described as the best equipped in sub-Saharan Africa. Akimade's statement directly counters a record remark by Femi Adesina, Buhari's former special advisor, who suggested that the ex-president might have died years ago if treated in the Nigerian hospital. Former President Buhari passed away in London clinic on July 13, 2025. Dr. Akimade further emphasized that a country unable to treat its own ailments remains colonized, and stressed the importance of developing local healthcare capabilities. Question to you, Dr. Uchedihara Ikedichukwu. This is a powerful statement, saying that the hospital we have in Nigeria, the Abu-Ad, could have revived the president. What does this suggest about the confidence levels of some private medical institutions in Nigeria, and how might it influence public perception of local healthcare capabilities?
Okay, Nigerians we are different people in what we do, in our professions all over the world. We do things at our best. So, as a CMD of the hospital in Abu-Ad, he is talking as an authority and as an insider. So, he knows the sophisticated nature of the equipment in Abu-Ad. He knows the kind of service they give in Abu-Ad hospital. So for him to have said, had it been late President Muhammad Buhari was brought to the hospital, he wouldn't have died. He is talking from his own point of view as a professional and as an insider, as a CMD of the hospital. So, on the side of Adeshina, who said on the contrary that had it been President Muhammad Buhari was treated in Nigerian hospital, that he would have died earlier before now. He is talking also as an insider, being somebody who is in the kitchen cabinet of the administration of President Muhammad Buhari late. He knows what he's talking. But the other side of it is this. Had it been the government of President Muhammad Buhari invested in our health sector, what would have led him out of the country? Nothing. He would have treated himself in the country, saved the money, the time, and all efforts to himself. But because he didn't invest in the health sector of the country, that was what led him to travel abroad, where the hard-earned money of Nigerians were spent. And at the end of it all, as nature will have it, as God will have it, he passed. So it calls for sober reflection and advice to our leaders that it's high time we invested in our country, invest in every sector of the country, so that you as a leader will benefit from it, and the people you are leading also will benefit from it. So our advice from what they have just said, President Tinubu should learn from what has happened. Invest in our health sector, invest in every other critical sector of the economy, so that at the end of it all, you as a leader will enjoy, and the people you are leading will enjoy.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Over to you, Mr. Shedrack. What is the fate of the Nigerian citizens if their leaders are not confident in their own healthcare system?
Well, it's very unfortunate that what the former SSA to the late President Muhammadu Buhari, Femi Adesina, said. Public officers should know they are first the immediate image makers of a country. So whatever they portray out there, it is not enough to be criticizing people, P2B, and said it's demarketing Nigeria, but somebody like Femi Adesina who just gave a statement that if he was treated here, he would have been dead long ago, which means he had given a statement against the Nigerian health sector. But we all know all over the world, Nigerians are among the best medical practitioners and professionals in the world. Very unfortunate that our leaders are not patriotic. They have no faith in the country. You cannot invest in something you don't have faith in. And that's the reason why you see them little ear pain, like in the case of Buhari. He once had ear infection and he traveled abroad for treatment. That was mockery of our health sector. I read a report this morning by one Sam Itunji by the Punch newspaper, who quoted the authorities of the CBN that Nigerians spent a whooping $3.6 billion in medical tourism per annum during Muhammadu Buhari. And of course, in the first year in office, I think September of that year, we have already spent over $2.4 billion medical, tourism under President Muhammadu Buhari. So if all these statements are flying, the CNG who spoke as a private investor. Of course, even in education, there are a lot of private universities that can compete with the best in the world. Exactly. So that is private business, but nobody is talking about the Nigerian masses, which means that is private sector. What happens to the Nigerian people that cannot afford to get the best outside the country? So it is an indictment against the Nigerian leadership. And of course, President Tinubu should learn from it. They will not. Out of a little head pain, he will fly abroad. Another thing is also disclosure of the health status of our leaders. In the United States of America, any little thing, they will tell you everything about the president. Is it cancer? Is it liver problem? They will tell you. When Nigeria here, they will always hide it in secrecy.
Exactly.
And thereby, so if we have the capability to even contain it, you will not know because they will keep hiding it. I don't know why they are doing that. And of course, it is against our public norm for them to do so. Very unfortunate. But again, they have left the Nigerian people helpless. Let them invest in our public sectors, especially our hospitals.
Thank you very much, development strategist Mr. Shedrack Oka, for that one. On our next story, Unimaid ASU rejects university renaming after President Muhammadu Buhari. This statement was made on Saturday when the ASU Unimaid chairperson, Dr. Abubakar Mishelia Saidu, branded the decision as politically motivated and a brazen affront to the university's well-established legacy, history, and academic integrity. The union stated that the renaming announced at a special Federal Executive Council meeting has caused widespread criticism, both within and outside the university community. ASU is now mobilizing its members to resist what it calls a sacrifice of the institution's hard-earned reputation for political patronage, particularly as Unimaid prepares to celebrate its 50th anniversary. The union pledged an unequivocal, forceful, and commanding response, noting that the public outcry is mounting. Critics also point out that Buhari already has multiple public institutions named after him, making this latest move very, very unnecessary. First question goes to you, Dr. Uchedi Haraikedi-Chukwu, as someone who's been in the education sector. The renaming of a university is a symbolic act. What are the potential consequences, both for the university's identity and for national unity, when such decisions face strong opposition from academic unions and the public?
Oh, thank you for directing that question to me. You know, in academic world, everything about it is all about merit. And without merit, I think academic as a profession, as a sector, will not find it fit. Now, let me start by saying that the government of President Tinubu has always done things as if we are in the military era, and whereas we are not. Let me quickly say by referring us to the ITC that was renovated and immediately was renamed after his name. And in the same vein, he started this by renaming such a prestigious institution like University of Maiduguri. Like I said earlier, this is a university that is about 50 years old. Now, this university was not renamed after the first class student in that institution. It was not renamed about after the best researcher in that institution.
Yes.
And you went ahead to rename it after a president, a leader that didn't give much attention to education, whose profile academically is questionable.
But sir, they claim the president is saying that the reason for this naming is because of the efforts Buhari put in fighting insurgency in the state where the university is.
Can you see the coherence? This is an educational institution, and they fight for insurgents. There are so many institutions, national institutions national institutions or monuments that can be renamed after President Muhammad Buhari. Come to think of it, there are roads renamed after President Muhammad Buhari late in this country, in Abuja precisely, and some other institutions. There is an institution, the Transport University in his state, that ought to be renamed after his name, not University of Maiduguri. What? Okay, did you consult the student community? Did you consult the academic community? Did you consult the leadership? And this is an institution that was established by an act in the National Assembly.
Exactly.
Did you change it before you do this? So sometimes I come to think, I can't ask myself, are we in military era? Himself, the president, who renamed this institution. Let me quickly remind us that he was among the people that protested when President Goodluck Jonathan renamed University of Lagos after Abiola. He protested. As a Democrat, he has to draw back and heeded to the advice and the yearnings of the people. So, but let me not conclude. There is still time for him to make a change where necessary.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Over to you, Mr. Shedrack. Political patronage, in quote, to what extent is this renaming a political move by Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Many critics are saying that this is as a result of he wants to win the favor of the North, and that's why he's just trying to look for ways to, to make political impact. What criteria should genuinely guide the renaming of public institutions, especially universities, to ensure broad acceptance and uphold the highest academic integrity of the same institution?
For me, it's objectivity, sincerity of purpose, and the merits are what the understanding of the symbol of that monumental gesture you want to show. I will take it in two perspectives. Number one, the protest by the university community and stakeholders against the remainder of UNIMAID is not because they hated Buhari. In fact, they do love Buhari very, very well. Yes. The people must understand, our leaders, politicians especially, behave as warlords, as kings, as monarchs whenever they assume office. They should understand that they are tenants. Exactly. They are passing. A governor, National Assembly member, president, it's 4 years. The most is 8 years. And you go and leave the system. So for politics, for political correctness, patronage, psychopathy taken too far, passion or zeal taken too far, you must not use that to contravene the law. Like my colleague, Dr. Chris, just said, something that is done after that act of parliament cannot be reversed through a presidential fiat. I want to say that I don't know whether our leaders are suffering from inertia, because if President Tinubu, just a few years ago, was part of the people who protested and wrote in the public media space against the renaming of UNILAG after this same order, I don't know why himself will want to do the same. That is just in a local parliament, they see finish. They just see Nigeria, there is nothing you can do. They want to impunity. They want to lord it over us. But like we say, like it happened before, it will not stand. It will not stand. Of course, this is another testing of our resolve as people to see if our politicians will take themselves as monarchs, or they should actually know that the crown sits on the head of the king. You can be the king of the jungle, but the lion is not bigger than the jungle itself. So please, they should follow the due process of the law in doing whatever they want to do and stop taking Nigerians for a ride.
Thank you very much. The next story, the Senate to Natasha Hadiza Akpoti-Uduaghan, respect due process, stay away from NASS. The Nigerian Senate has issued a stern warning to suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, Kogi Central Senatorial District, demanding she respects due process and refrains from attempting to return to the National Assembly before her 6-month suspension expires. Senator Yemi Adaramodu, chairman of the Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, clarified on Sunday that there is no court order currently compelling the Senate to reiterate the embattled lawmaker. Adaramodu explained that the Federal High Court judgment by Justice Binta Nyako only offered a non-binding advisory opinion, suggesting the Senate consider amending its standing orders and reviewing the suspension, which the court opined might be excessive. Crucially, he emphasized that the court found the Senate had not violated any law or constitutional provision in meting out the disciplinary action. Adaramodu further stated that the court found Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan guilty of contempt, imposing a 5 million naira fine and requiring a public apology in 2 national dailies and her Facebook page, directive which must remain fulfilled or unfulfilled. He warned that any attempt by the senator to resume the seat under the guise of a misinterpreted judgment would be considered an affront to the Senate's authority. Question to you, Doctor. This ongoing dispute between Senator Akpoti and the Senate raises questions about the balance of power between legislative authority and judicial advisory. How should a legislative body respond to a court's advisory opinion in matters of internal discipline?
Okay, you see, with my little knowledge of the law, I'm not a lawyer, and neither a judge, but having gone through the CTC, I would say that this issue lingering is as a result of judicial lapses on the part of the judge, yes, who gave a judgment that is advisory in content. Having given that advisory judgment, for me, if I am to be in the position of the Senate, it is an advice in nature. So I stand a position to say yes to your advice or no. I have the discretion to say yes, your advice is taken, or to reject it. So this calls for professional input on the side of our judges. When they are giving judgment, they should be professional over it. By this one, be emphatic. I didn't say an order in that judgment. It was an advice. And by this reason, the Senate stands the position to say, yes, I was taking your advice, or we're not taking it. And this is as a result of, it will result to taking time, effort, and taxpayers' money in passing through another judicial process that will take our time, effort, and the people's money. So they should be professional. I mean, the judges in their judgment when they are presiding over an issue of national interest of this nature.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Over to you, Mr. Shedrack. The Senate's emphasis on unfulfilled court directives against Senator Akpoti suggests a moral ground for their stance. What does this situation entirely reveal about the interplay of legal rulings, institutional pride, and political maneuverings, within the polity?
When the current Chief Justice of the Federation was sworn in, Kikireku, and he made a very big statement on trying to, restore the confidence of Nigerians on the judiciary of the country. I thought that was going to be a new order, but I can say, just like my colleague said, most of the problem we are encountering is the failure of the judiciary court to step up, to the game when they are needed the most. I was one of the person who was not satisfied with the ruling of the court that day, especially when you hear statements like, in my opinion, the Senate have the right to discipline its members. That is an opinion. But on the clear look at the CTC, which myself have clearly read through, you see, contrary to what the chairman of the media from the Senate purportedly said, I think the court, the CTC of the judgment said otherwise. The court did not order Natasha to make a public apology to the Senate. The court charged her 5 million naira for contempt, because the very day she wrote that on the Facebook, I was in my house listening, and I said this is wrong, that she was ill-advised by her lawyers and managers, that she shouldn't do that because the matter is in court. That is what the court found her culpable of, and find her 5 million and to write apology on 2 newspapers and even in her Facebook, not to the Senate, but to the court, an offense against the court. So in the case of Senator Alin Dume 2018 versus the Senate, the Court of Appeal ruled that the Senate or National Assembly has no right to sanction or discipline its member beyond 14 days. That is a binding order of the court. It's a subsisting order that has not been set aside. So in the first place, the Senate itself, the Senate and its leadership, have contravened this law by disciplining Natasha Akpoti for over 180 days. That alone is what our Justice Nyako is supposed to find the Senate for doing that. Number 2, I find it very offensive, very, very offensive and highly disappointed that a plaintiff, somebody who is injured, came to the court to redress the issue. Senator Nyako find it very convenient to find her for contempt of court, but failing to address her own injury meted by the institution of the Senate. If there is a court order from the appeal court that states you must not discipline a member of the Senate for more than 14 days because an injury against the constituents, why didn't you address that issue? She stylishly avoided that issue, thereby making it to look like this is state capture. Are you afraid of the Senate leadership or the Senate as an institution who is an arm of government? We don't understand. So these are the issues that make citizens to lose confidence in Lady Justice. It is totally unacceptable. And of course, Natasha have gone to appeal this judgment. But that is Natasha. What about the ordinary citizens? We have entirely lost faith in this whole issue. It is unacceptable, and the Senate leadership, Senator Adara Modu, should stop deceiving the public and misquoting the law. That is not what was written in that court judgment. Go, simple Google and check out the statement from the court. That is not it. Write an apology in 2 tabloids and publish in your Facebook and pay 5 million naira for contempt of court. Not because she violated the decision of the Senate, but she went there to seek redress over her own injury. And there's a substantial court order, like I quoted in Alin Dume versus the Senate in 2018. That has not been appealed. Why would they ignore entirely that? And the resumption of Senator Natasha Akpoti is not in violation of any of these things. It is not precondition upon doing that apology to the Senate. So I will myself charge Senator Akpoti to do the needful. Number one, write an apology letter to the court as stated by the court. She has appealed. That has now been overtaken. If not, mobilize your constituent and move to the National Assembly. It belongs to the people, not to Akpabio and any of his gangs. It does not belong to Akpabio. Disrupt it, because it is their fundamental right that their senator or legislator should represent them. You cannot deprive the people for 180 days, contravening the law. Unacceptable in Nigeria. It is highly unacceptable. I'm most disappointed in Justice Nyako for not doing the needful.
Thank you very much for that very passionate response, Mr. Shedrack. And with that, we call today's program to a halt. Thank you very much, of course, Mr. Shedrack, development strategist, for being here today on this episode. And of course, Dr. Uchedihara Ikedichukwu for your presence.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's have a major look at our top stories for today. Buhari could have survived here, says Abu Ad Hospital. Unimed ASU rejects university renaming after late President Buhari. Senate to Natasha Akpoti, respect due process, stay away from NASS. Thank you very much for being a part of today's episode. Trends continues next week as we join other programs with Justice with LJE Nigeria. Don't forget, you too can be a part of this conversation by following our social media platforms at YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. You can also report a violation if you face one on www.ljenigeria.org. Stay safe and have a wonderful day.